everybody. Hope you're having a great Friday today, and the rest of your Friday is amazing too, because you are amazing. As I'm riding this morning to work, I'm thinking about a conversation I had with my mom yesterday, and she was talking about how when she was in college and she was at Cornell and she was living in Manhattan, finishing the end of her nursing degree, and the dormitory where she lived was in Manhattan, and she would go every day to the hospital over in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn area, and to the hospital over there. And so she would get up every day and she would get on the bus, the public transportation, and ride the bus with her little classmates, and she would have her little white nurse's uniform on, and she would ride the bus and then walk through the neighborhood, which was a bad neighborhood back then. Not such a great neighborhood, she was told. And she would go to the hospital, do her work for the day, walk back, get on the bus, and ride back to her dormitory. And she talked about how she just really enjoyed that experience, walking and talking, because she's from, upstate New York, and didn't necessarily spend a lot of time in the city. So she was talking about that, and she would share with me a little bit about her experience on the bus one day. And she was riding the bus to the hospital, and she's sitting there with her classmates, and she noticed across from her this young lady, and as my mom described it, that she was tall and slender, and that her skin was super duper dark. Well, she didn't say super duper, was very, 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 very dark. And she said it almost shone. And she said it was almost, her skin was almost black, and she said it almost shone. She said, again, this girl was tall and slender and looked like she may have been maybe Ethiopian or something. And she was describing this girl sitting across from her on the bus, and how my mom was just in awe of this young lady's skin, and how she looked across and said to herself, man, her skin, it almost shone, it was glowing. And my mom said, God, it's kind of weepy in her eyes, and said, I thought to myself, how beautiful is that girl's skin? And then she was described, that was really the end of the story, and how she kind of hopped off the bus and went and did her thing at the hospital and went home. And it kind of struck me, and my mom and I got talking about how she had noticed the beauty of this young lady's skin. And I asked her, I said, imagine if you had said something to her. Imagine if you had indicated that to her, or said to her from across the bus, hey, man, your skin is so beautiful, or you are so beautiful. And just conveyed to that young lady what she had noticed about her skin. My mom hadn't done that, not for any reason, but you don't necessarily just go around saying, hey, you're beautiful, this is beautiful. But sometimes it's good to stop and ask, why haven't I conveyed that to this person who's sitting across from me? What I've noticed about them that is good and beautiful, why haven't I conveyed that to them? And a lot of times it's out of fear, or not sure what their reaction is going to be, or and so I was thinking this morning about that story, about how my mom had noticed this woman's skin and the beauty of it, and how that it had an impact on my mom, and how even now, decades and decades and decades later, it still makes my mom a little emotional when she had recognized or noticed how beautiful that young lady's skin was. And so I thought to myself, and so I'm sharing with you, many times as I think things to myself, I share them with you, was take the risk. When you notice beauty in someone, and you notice good in someone, and that acknowledgement is worth the risk. Take a second and say, hey man, this about you is beautiful, that about you is beautiful. It may not be their skin, it may be their attitude, or their hair, or their eyes, or they have nice elbows, whatever it is that you noticed about them, and maybe just part of their attitude, or something you saw them do that was nice and good and beautiful. Recognize that, tell people, acknowledge those things in people. It's worth the risk, because that may brighten their day. That young lady, that may have totally changed her life or changed her day. It may have been that young lady already knew and was supremely confident in her beauty and the way she looked on the outside. On the other side of the coin, maybe she didn't know. Maybe nobody had ever told her that she was that beautiful and she was going to dive off a bridge on her way home from the bus that day. And so I guess my point is, when you acknowledge something about someone that's good and beautiful, take a second and let them know, because it could be a game changer. And at the very least, it starts a discord. It starts a dialogue between in a discourse between you and them. So I hope that helps you. Hope that encourages you. Get out there today, folks. Gain yards in all you do. And please take care of your mindset, because it matters. I love you. Peace.